items on the agenda. So we're going to go ahead and listen to, I have a few cards on each of the agenda items. So we're going to go ahead and let's hold off on items 5 and 6 and deal with those later.
Sure.
One of them definitely is going to go into closed session, so we're going to hold off on those. And why don't we go ahead and take public comments for items 1 through 4 and 7.
Surely,
Okay,
Madam
let's
Chair.
do that.
Would you like me to read them into the record?
Yes, please.
Okay. Item number 1 relates to DWP report resolution relative to 9 consent agreements with Southern California Edison for the Barron Ridge Renewable Transmission Project. Number 2 relates to DWP report and ordinance relative to the First Amendment to the PPA for sites 2 and 5 for Beacon Solar Project. Number 3 relates to DWP report and resolution relative to an agreement with the Basin Valve Company for safety and pressure relief valve services. And number 4 relates to city attorney report relative to proposed agreement with Nossaman to provide legal services concerning the design build Hyperion Advanced Water Purification Facility project.
Okay, Mr. Spinner has filled out a cards for items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. Do you want to come up? And we will add your minute of public comment. We'll do that as well. So he's got 3 minutes. So again, Mr. Spinner, you have filled out a card for 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and you will include your public comment as well.
What about number 6?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Okay. First, there we go. And a shout out to Mr. Herman. Yeah.
Well, it is time for just a second,
Yeah.
Mr. Spindler.
Okay, go ahead, yeah.
You're already disrupting the meeting, but you did fill out a card for 5 and 6. Well, we're going to hold off on those items because we don't know if we're going to go into closed session.
Okay. Because
So
those
start
are
with Clark. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Because the FBI is investigating 5 and 6. Anyway, so now, welcome to the Puppet Energy Committee show. Yes, now we get to Southern California Edison. Edison, there's a good energy company regulated by the PUC. Isn't it too bad that DWP isn't also regulated by the PUC? Then you wouldn't be charging all those nasty increases and stealing $249 million a year in its so-called transfer tax. Well, anyway, in the perfect puppet world, that would be. But in the reality, we get to all of this fraud. Number 1 is bullshit. Vote, but you'll vote yes. Number 2 is bullshit, but you'll vote yes. There's no solar energy. The consumers don't get the benefit. It goes to all the billionaire, and the billionaire charges as much as now. Number 3, the Basin Valve Company is bullshit, so they'll prove that. Number 4 is the Hyperion Advanced Purification. Nobody uses recycled water. We're not pigs. We don't want to use recycled water. I want fresh water from the sun and the sky. And then we're not going to talk about 5 and 6 because that's the ones the FBI are looking at. So we'll get to number 7, transfer of surplus money. There is no surplus money, schmucks. The surplus money means you're stealing money from the DWP, stealing it and putting it in a transfer of the general fund of the city to steal it. Then there's a shortfall at DWP and Mr. Levine and Mr. Pico over there raise your rates. It's all a Ponzi scheme. We want Department of Water and Power to give us fresh water and energy at the lowest possible cost. But you 3 won't allow it. So Mr. Trump, shut this fucking place down and take over the DWP, and they can decrease our rates by 31% according to our internal reports. So these people are criminals. Sue them. That's what my friend here is doing. Thank you.
And the next speaker is Mr. Herman. You fill out cards on 1, 2, 3, and you have public comment as well. Oh, you just submitted another card for 7. So you have 1, 2, 3, 7, and general public comment. Go ahead.
Well, as you heard the first speaker say, it's all a bunch of slush fund money going to waste. I can't believe there's such a poverty pimps in Los Angeles creating havoc for its constituents. But because of my old age, they say that my AIDS has not killed me yet. But because of my mental condition, I'm able to stabilize myself. Now going on to item number 2, the city attorney, Board of Water and Power. That was in the LA Times regarding customer service. That's item 2, sir. Don't worry. Now I'm going to item 3. But item 2 I oppose. It needs to be reanalyzed for an addition of amendment. Now item 3, time limits. 2017, last day for council action. Board of Water and Power Commission and City Administrative Officers reports. No, fuck the reports. We want safety and pressure relief so the pipes don't bust in the Hollywood Hills and push the buildings down into the fucking street and you block it for 3 days. And my last item, the stealing. The stealing on item number 7 brought up by Wayne Spindler, the advocate who saved us from the DWP when he got arrested out in Van Nuys. Illegal perjury and charges against the man who protects our civil liberties and rights. But no, the action is a TMU, Threat Management Unit. And I too cannot wait. Wait, let me get Mr. Herman. He speaks very clear on this sheet.
Well, as you all know, it's time for Trump to stop the slush fund in LA, slow down these Democrat fat cats, and stuff them with dead rats so they can get the hell out. Because we're sick and tired of funding councilmen, elected officials, who rake up $200,000 a year and can't have a budget, cannot find $17 fucking million that they stole or invested in their own pockets or padded wallets. That's a fucking goddamn shame. Yet there's 47,000 homeless people in your street who need water. And that's why when I was down at the LA River right now, praying for more rain, it's coming, baby. It's gonna rain like AIDS back in the 90s when I worked at County USC, stuffing you dumb motherfuckers in bags. Learn from the Creator, God. Because if not, your punishment will be my day of reckoning. And that day has come. General public comment?
No, that was it.
Oh,
Thank you.
all in one.
Madam Clerk, that concludes public comments for items. Mr. Herman, thank you. For items 1 through 4 and item 7. So colleagues, if there are no objections, I'd like to go ahead and approve items 1 through 4 and 7 on consent. Okay, thank you so much. That will be the order. And now we can return back to items 5 and 6.
Yes, item number 5 and 6.
I do have cards on both items, so I'm going to take up the first speaker, Leah, on item 6. You can also have your 1 minute of public comment as well. So you can speak 2 minutes. You can speak on your item 6 and then public comment as well.
So item 6, I get 2 minutes and then?
No. You get 2 minutes in total. One for item 6, which you filled out a card for, and another minute for public comment.
Hi, I'm Leah.
How are you?
Pleasure to see you. I'm a stakeholder in the City of Los Angeles, and I'm extraordinarily concerned about information because I've had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars of my own personal money to get information from the City of Los Angeles, and I can't get it. It's certainly obstruction of justice, and when I do get it, often it's altered from a document in a previous time, or it's just concealed entirely. And the reason why I'm bringing it up today on item number 6 is you have customer information system litigation. Well, you don't even have the litigation number on here. So I went to see if the information was on your packet. There's no number. So I have no way to see what your litigation is. And if it's the very information, you're concealing the information for the litigation, That's, I think, fraud or bad faith. That's one of the two or both. The other thing, my public comment is that I own property in the California coastal zone, and that's subject to federal law, and we're being denied access to information, notice, due process. Our properties are at risk. We're being denied public hearings. And there's a work program that has information regarding sanitary sewers and infrastructures and some substandard streets and slide planes and faults and landslides, and all of that's missing. And I'm having to invest my own personal dollars in public information because you don't make it available to the public. So my request is if I could work with either the mayor or one of you so we could set up a system so that people have access to the facts and to the truth, because without that we don't have a democracy, we don't have a municipal public entity. We have a private corporation, and that's what it looks like. So I really appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you very much, Leah. Nice to see you. Next speaker is Mr. Spindler. You have cards on 5 and 6.
Yes. Oh, you can bring up the article, Mr. Herman. Bring up the article. So, here we go, 5 and 6. And thank you in Washington, D.C., at the FBI headquarters. Yes, they're now taking up the items, so all of the field agents in L.A., you can turn on the speakerphones now. See, we have KPMG to perform external audits. Now, that means that they're going to perform a real audit, not the bullshit that Mr. Galperin does. No, this is the real deal. It's the real thing. Yes, it's going to be done by GAAP, General Accepted Accounting Principles, GAAP. And it's going to show there's a big gap between what is taken in, what you steal. See, what they do here at City Hall is, let's say you take in $1 billion. Well, they subtract 200 million, and they call it 800 million taken in minus 800 million spent equals a balanced budget. The problem is, where the fuck is the 200 million? Well, now we'll find out. And that's what the FBI wants to know. They just want to know, can we have the 200 million? Mr. O'Farrell? No. Nuri? No comment. My attorneys have advised me not to speak. It might self-incriminate me. Oh, no. No, that's the grand jury across the street about the campaign donations. And then, of course, the honest one, Bob Blumenfield, he has no comment. So number 6 will be the settlement of the litigation. What's the fucking case number? You don't put it in the agenda packet. Puppets want to know the case number that we are a class member of.
Madam Clerk, that concludes public comment on both items 5 and 6. I will also close general public comment now.
Sir.
And so we're going to go ahead and take, but I did want, Mr. City Attorney, what do you think we should do regarding the billing item, item number 6? Should we take it up now or take it up in closed session?
You want to answer that? Certainly, Madam Chair, it depends on how you want to proceed. If you'd like to consider 5 and 6 jointly together, and you'd like to discuss the billing litigation, perhaps
So we should
could
take that in closed session. Okay, we'll do that.
If we would recess in a closed session because that matter does involve the Antoine Jones versus City of Los Angeles
Okay.
case and the consolidated cases in the Los Angeles Superior Court. So we could have that discussion in closed session, but we would have to come out to vote on item 5.
Okay, so go ahead and read the items into the record and then prepare the room for closed session.
Certainly, Madam Chair. Item number 5 relates to the DWP report and resolution relative to request for approval of amendment number 1 to an agreement with KPMG, perform external audits, financial statements, and related services. And number 6 is a motion, Martinez Englander, requesting the Department of Water and Power, the City Attorney, to report on the status of the Customer Information System litigation and settlement matter.
Okay, go ahead. Sergeants, can you please help prepare the room for closed session? now, sir? I apologize, I meant to call you earlier,
Not a problem.
but you know, our distraction of folks that were
There
exiting.
there are two other aspects. Well, one, we have reviewed the
Into the, sure. Just 7, right?
7.
So you want to do that now? So we're going to go ahead and go back into open session. Mr. City Attorney, did you want to read item 7 into the record?
Certainly. Item number 7 relates to a city attorney DWP report, an ordinance relative to the transfer surplus money from the Power Revenue Fund to the Reserve Fund of the city during fiscal year 2016-2017.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and take up item number 5?
Item number 5, Madam Chair. What is the disposition of the committee?
Okay, I move that we approve item 5. Is there a second? Okay, Mr. Blumenfield?
Okay.
And we're going to keep item 6 in committee for future updates.
Okay.
Well, colleagues, that seems to take care of all the items this afternoon, so if there are no objections, I'd like to adjourn our meeting.
No objections.
Great. Thank you very much.